Have you ever felt really productive, but yet you notice that you're not moving the needle in your business? Let me guess, you've got the ideas, you've got the strategy, and you've got the intention to show up on video. But when it comes time to actually press record to create your YouTube video, you find every other reason or excuse not to actually do it. In fact, you might find yourself all of a sudden starting to clean out your inbox, or you decide to start a new project, or you decide to distract yourself with anything other than actually creating your YouTube video. And here's the thing, it's not a distraction, it's not procrastination, it's not even being lazy. It's actually self sabotage and it's keeping you stuck in your business. In this video, I'm going to show you why self sabotage is often disguised as productivity and 3 sneaky ways it's showing up in your visibility strategy without you even realizing it. By the end, you'll know exactly how to capture it in real time and what to do instead, especially if you know that YouTube is your next level, but you keep putting it off. Oftentimes, we don't even know what self sabotage looks like. We might think it's something worse than it actually is. In fact, we might even think that the procrastination or the distractions or the productivity that we find ourselves in on a day to day basis isn't actually self sabotage, but it really is. Self sabotage doesn't look like sitting on a couch doing absolutely nothing. For high achieving women like us, it looks like being really busy with everything except for those things that are actually going to move the needle. In fact, that's what actually inspired this video today. I was sitting at my desk and I came up with a brand new idea for an ROI calculator for high achieving women like us to use so that we can look at the benefits and ROI of how we're spending our time creating content for social media in comparison to creating videos for YouTube. Now, it's a really great idea, but my authority amplifier launches next week, and I need to have 100% of my focus on launching that and getting the spots filled this week. So while that was a great idea and something I will move forward with, right now is just not the time. Other examples that might sound familiar to you are doing things like redesigning your website. You might even start a brand new project or a new product. Or it could be something as simple as creating some additional steps in your existing funnel that really aren't necessary. And if you're kind of stuck in that uncertainty, foggy area and need some clarity as to whether or not what you're doing is actually self sabotage or it's productivity, write this down where you spend the majority of your time so it can serve as a reminder as to whether or not what you're doing is actually going to help you move the needle in your business or it's something that's just a distraction or procrastination. If it doesn't lead to visibility, authority, or sales, it's maintenance, not momentum. And it's how we trick ourselves into feeling accomplished without actually taking the risk of being seen. Here's the second sneaky way that self sabotage is creeping its way into your business. And this one is going to hurt. The real reason you're not on YouTube isn't because you don't know what to say. It's because you're afraid of what people will think when you actually say it. This is actually more common than you may think. And if you're feeling it, I can guarantee there are other women, including high achievers, who are feeling the exact same way. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do, though, is to really dig into this fear and why you're feeling this way. And keep the focus on what the fear is holding you back from. It's holding you back from that next level that you desire. Here are 3 things that are likely surfacing as you're starting to think through it and really diving deeper into that fear and why you're experiencing it. The first one is YouTube is searchable and it probably feels permanent. And while YouTube is permanent, so is the content that you're sharing on all the other social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn. Another fear that might be surfacing is the fear of being judged or found out. And here's the thing, if your ideal clients can't find you, they're not going to be able to work with you. And I encourage you to really focus in on your expertise, your talent, your stories, all of the experience, the decades of experience that you've accumulated over the years, and how that translates into the message that your ideal clients need to hear coming from someone like you who does have this vast majority of experience that's going to help them go from point A, where they're at right now, to point B, where they ultimately want to be. And the third fear that might be popping up is the fear of your peers watching and criticizing you, not actually your ideal clients, but your peers. I encourage you to dig into any of those fears or other ones that I didn't mention to really identify where that root fear is coming from. I've actually done a deep dive into some of my fears as well, and it was surprising to me to find out that some of those fears actually went back to my childhood. And that's why I'm encouraging you to really set aside some time to identify what those fears are. And two things. One, identify if you don't overcome these fears, how is that going to impact your business, your livelihood, and the goals that you want to accomplish? How's that going to hold you back and not allow you to get to where you want to go? And then on the flip side, or the second thing, is to look at if you overcome those fears, what is it going to help you accomplish? How's it going to help you scale and really achieve those goals that you ultimately desire? Here's the thing, fear is going to keep you stuck. Until you can identify it and work through it, you're going to continue to sit in that content hamster wheel and struggle to get to that next level where you ultimately want to be until you identify it and work through it. And if you're like me, you don't want to get stuck in that short-term content hamster wheel. You want to build something that has longevity and ultimately can help you build your legacy. When you're deciding to stay in that short-term content loop, you're ultimately saying yes to fear. So what I'm asking you to do is to consider where that impact is going to play in your business in the short term and the long term. Because if you're like me and you want to build something bigger, something that is going to have a greater impact, you're ultimately going to have to step out of your comfort zone and get past the fears in order to move the needle in your business. When you decide to do that, you'll find that you're stepping into a platform that's going to position you as the sought after expert you are. When we don't feel in control of the outcome, we subconsciously avoid the actions. YouTube feels big and permanent, long term, and unpredictable. And that's the precise reason that you keep starting something smaller that feels safe and comfortable. Here are some examples that you might relate to. The first one is you're staying stuck in the planning mode. You have all of these good intentions of recording a video and publishing a video. In fact, you're probably even envisioning what that looks like when you actually publish it. The problem is that you're staying stuck in the planning mode and trying to perfect the entire process and perfect your hook and your talking points, and you're doing all the things instead of actually doing the thing. Here's another one. Over preparing for the perfect first video. I have news for you. There is no perfect first video. In fact, if you go back and look at my first video or the first video of any major channel person out there, including Mr. Beast, you will find that the first videos actually suck. They're not any good at all. And that's okay. That's the point, is to start messy, get it out of the way, learn with each new video that you post at least one thing that you can do better next time. And that's the reason why I always tell clients that I work with when they're just getting started with YouTube, the first 50 to 100 videos are more or less getting comfortable with getting on camera, creating videos, creating the consistency, and getting better along the way. If you focus on the first perfect video, you're going to stay stuck there forever because there's no such thing as a perfect first video. The third example is telling yourself that you're going to start after insert whatever project thing that you want to. You're creating every excuse possible to not get started. So therefore, you keep saying, I'll get started after. It's essentially the same thing as saying, I'll get started tomorrow, knowing full well that tomorrow is never going to come because you're going to keep saying, I'll get started tomorrow. And here's the truth. Staying in control mode is actually costing you your next level. You don't need more prep time. You don't need more strategy. You don't need more perfection. You don't even need more time. You just need more courage. So let me ask you this. Are you hiding behind perfection, planning, or productivity? Are you doing all the things except the one thing that's going to build your brand, grow your audience, and bring in the leads that are ready to buy? This isn't about blame and it's not about shame. This is actually about identifying the pattern so that you can identify what you need to do in order to correct it so that you can choose differently. If you know that YouTube is your next level and you're tired of trying to do it alone, you're tired of feeling stuck, and you know that you want to move the needle, no longer feeling just productive, but actually seeing those sales start roll in, that's exactly what we do inside the Authority Amplifier. We start soon, so I'll include a link in the description so that you can check out the details and see if it's a good match for you and good timing for you. I built this for women just like you who are already powerful, but just tired of sabotaging their next stage of growth by staying invisible. They want to be more visible, but it's just really identifying how to overcome that fear in order to take their business to the next level. I've also included links in the description so that you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you want to send me a DM and ask questions about the program, whether or not it's a good fit, then I would be more than happy to have that conversation with you as well. I want to help you make sure that that next video or your first video that you post is the video that changes everything for you. So let's definitely have that conversation. If you're not quite ready for Authority Amplifier yet, but you do want to take the next step on your own, go ahead and watch this video next. It's going to help you do that. Go ahead and click on it. I'll see you over there.